What's good, world? ADMT.TV here today to bring you a new episode of Hip Dance. Let's go.
There's only a few people you can really talk to about A.L.DRE, Andre Davis. And you've done so much, like I said, in hip-hop in general. People really don't understand what you have done and what you've accomplished outside of just the art and everything else. You know, from going to nursing homes and things like that. So give us a little insight on what started Dre. What got you into drawing?
Older brother who drew. There was just no way around it. Older brother drew, saw him draw. You know, you want to try and do what your older brother does. And it turned out that I could do what my older brother did. So, and then he would do caricatures and funny drawings of me and make me cry and all that other kind of shit. So in my mind, I was like, yo, I'm going to draw better than you. I'm going to make fun of you. So that was just my inspiration to keep drawing it. Like I said, once I found out I really could do it and really loved doing it, then it just became drawing for me as opposed to trying to outdo him. You know what I mean? And it was just natural progression. It was the way for me to express myself as a shy kid.
Why is what made you take on, you know, especially in hip hop, what made you take on the artists as far as using them? A lot of your work is inspired by them. You know, what made you take on that?
Well, I mean, I look at it this way. When I was in high school, we had black books going around, and towards graduation, the last year or two, people would, you know, hand out their black books, want you to draw something especially for them. And I just started doing caricatures and drawing people, and I would make fun of people in their own books. And people would wait for me to finish another person's book to give me their book. So we had this one dude named Herman Gonzalez. He came to school, opened his book bag, and a roach came out. And everybody snapped down and made fun of him. And there's this comic character called Taskmaster with a shield. So what I did was I did my version of Taskmaster. I call it Roachmaster. And he had a can of Raid, and I drew Herman as the Roachmaster. And I hooked his book up, and then everybody else wanted me to do it. So I was making fun of folks the same way I do in the Source, but in high school. So when the Source came around and they said, we want you to draw every month who's on the cover and make fun if you want to, I was like, that's perfect. That's what I've been doing that. So
now I'm sure you knew you would get a lot of backlash. I mean, you've done, don't get me wrong, you know, I've seen, you know, plenty of the drawings. I mean, all your work is phenomenal, but you know, some people you might have rubbed the wrong way. Who do you think you might have rubbed the wrong way? And not only that, what was your feeling behind it when you drew something? You know, what did it got to go through your head like, yo, I might get backlash?
No, actually no. I was, like I said, I was just drawing what I felt. I was drawing, to me, what was real. If I had to think about something and make it up, like with X-Clan, they was one of the first people who were real mad. And all I did was I drew I drew Professor X with beads up to his nose, right? And all I was saying was, you remember Professor X, always had beads and whatever. So when the issue came out, you know, I live in Flatbush, as you know, and you would see them walking around the neighborhood. But they didn't know who I was, and there was no relationship. I just always noticed them. And when the issue came out, and I came up to the Source offices, and there was a message. He's like, somebody up there doesn't like me. So they came and told me right away that he was looking for me. Wow. So I'm 25. I don't give a fuck then. And my whole thing was, if somebody's mad at me, I don't want no surprises. So if I'm walking down Flatbush and he realizes who I am and I don't know he's mad at me, I get jumped and beat the crap out without knowing why. So my whole thing was, tell him who I am, give him my phone number, let him speak to me. So I gave him my phone number. He called me probably like 8, 9 o'clock that evening when I got home. Pick up the phone and see him on the other end. He's like, so what are you trying to say? You trying to say I talk too much? Are you trying to say I need to shut up? But I was like, nah, all I'm saying is you wear too much beads. So there was silence on the other end. And then he started laughing. And me and him was cool until his passing. From then on, you know.
Now, because you also, what people don't know, about you is that not only were your drawings focused on, usually whoever was on the front cover, you drew on the back, but you also did, a lot of interviews with people that a lot of people don't know. Who are some of the people that you've done interviews with that a lot of people might not have known that you've done in the Source magazine?
Well, this is the trick to it, because everybody wants you to just do one thing. You know what I mean? So when I told people, I started doing the art in the Source in '90, and I always wrote. I wanted to write, and I approached them about writing in '94, and they was like, we don't want you to write. Can you just do that? And I was like, I'm gonna write somewhere. So that's when I had really kind of stopped rapping and started managing y'all.
Right.
So I was like,
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. So I said, let me just start writing under A.L.DRE. So that way, those who don't know that A.L.DRE is Andre Leroy Davis, I can work it like that. So I started writing reviews first, just for the Source. I reviewed KRS-One albums, Naughty by Nature albums, Lost Boy albums. I did a whole bunch of
classics.
All that, yes. And got a pretty good following from the reviews. And actually I did a Mike Geronimo review. Like most of his albums, but I wrote a review jabbing at him. I had a meeting at Blunt Records with their A&R about something that I was trying to do. So I go in there, and Mike Geronimo was there. So I'm there as Andre Leroy Davis, the artist. So the A&R brings him over. It's like, yo, Mike Geronimo loves your stuff. He wanted to meet you. So I'm there, and I don't meet him yet. But then somebody else comes in and is like, yo, Mike is pissed at the review in the Source by some dude A.L.DRE. So I'm in there getting love from Mike Geronimo as Andre Leroy Davis, and he had no idea that I was A.L.DRE. And at that point, I was just keeping them separate so I could do whatever.
Now, how did I remember you doing actual? It was either an interview or review with Beanie Siegel. How did that come about?
Well, actually, that wasn't. By then, I wasn't doing just interviews. I was writing actual feature stories and stories, and I actually wrote that for XXL. So I wrote for, by that point I had been doing it for a couple of years where other magazines started reaching out to me for my writing as well. Still not knowing Andre Leroy Davis and A.L.DRE were the same person. So I started writing for the Source. I wrote for Rap Pages. I wrote for XXL. I wrote for Vibe. So I wrote for all the major magazines that were going on at the time. And it just happened because actually I did 2 pieces for XXL before it kind of blew up there. People knew that, found out Andre Leroy Davis and A.L.DRE were the same person.